I'm going to be answering a question today. Am I moving to Malaysia because it's cheap? To be honest, it's not a topic that I really like to talk about, and I'll share why that is and if I think Malaysia is cheap or not, and is that the reason why I'm moving there. Sorry, sunglasses are on to protect my eyes. So I lead a very privileged life. I work for a US company and I get paid in US dollars. So it would be very amiss of me to say that Malaysia is cheap, because of course I know the salaries that Malaysians receive and I know life is tough. So the money aspect I don't feel particularly comfortable talking about, but I will say I don't feel Malaysia is a cheap place to live. If I was looking for somewhere cheap, I would go to Thailand, Vietnam or the Philippines. Of course, the cost of living in Malaysia is much cheaper than the UK or the US or pretty much every country in Western Europe. That's for sure. And I would be lying if I didn't say that the reason, or one of the reasons why I want to come and live in Malaysia is because of the cost of living. But I like to look at it in a different way. For me, it's not about cost of living, it's about standard of living. When you compare your life in your home country compared with the country you are moving to. So if you take Malaysia as a good example, if I rent an apartment in Kuala Lumpur, which, let's be honest, is the most expensive city in the country, I'm going to be getting a pool, I'm going to be getting a gym, and I'm going to be getting other facilities. I would never get that in the UK. In the UK, I'm paying for a one-bedroom apartment with no facilities whatsoever. In Malaysia, I've got supermarkets, I've got coffee shops, I've got restaurants, I've got links to the public transport, all on my doorstep. It's all about convenience in Malaysia, and that's something that the UK really has to learn, to create and develop buildings, residential buildings, which are based on convenience for those people that are living there. So for me, the quality of living is just on another level compared with the UK, and I know a lot of people won't like to hear that, but it's true. So to answer the question, am I moving to Malaysia because it is cheap? No. And I guess yes. No, because Malaysia isn't cheap compared with other countries. But yes, because of course I'm looking towards the future. I'm thinking about retirement, and I know that if I live in countries like Malaysia where the cost of living is lower than the UK, then of course I'm going to be able to have a more comfortable retirement because I can save more money than living in the UK. Can you now see why it's a difficult question to answer? So I am really looking forward to building a home in Malaysia. When I move there, I will be paying tax in Malaysia, I'll be paying rent in Malaysia, I'll be paying utility bills in Malaysia. So of course I'm going to be paying towards the local economy, which I believe is super important, really important. Let's have less of my face and more of this beautiful park that I'm walking around. No, I'm not in Singapore, I'm still in Bangkok, but this was donated by the Singapore Tourism Board. And this is a beautiful park. It's just very hazy today. Humid, hot and hazy. To be completely honest, I don't know why more Brits don't do what I'm doing. For the last 10 years I've been able to travel and work remotely and save so much more money for the future. Really plan for my retirement in 15 years time, and there's no way that I would have been able to afford to save up as much money as I had, and also get involved in stocks and shares, ISAs and things like that. If I hadn't been travelling and living in cheaper cost of living countries, of course, I've been to South Korea. I spent a lot of time in South Korea. I spent a lot of time in Singapore. I spent a lot of time in Japan. And those places are not cheap to live in. But when you combine that with the places which are cheaper to live in, that is where you can make substantial difference in your savings and pension in the future. Beautiful park though, and beautiful Buddha here. The sound of birds. By the way, check out my Explore with Sounds channel if you haven't already. Now, some people will say what I've said about the UK as bashing my home country. I am super proud to be from England, to be a Yorkshireman, but I'm not stupid. You have to be realistic. You have to think about your future, and if that means working remotely and travelling and paying tax in another country and having a cheaper cost of living and also a better standard of living, then of course I'm going to do it. Of course. I'd be stupid not to. It's common sense. Beautiful, beautiful place. So calm. Sounds of nature. Now, not every country is perfect, and I know that. I'm not stupid. I've been travelling for the last 10 years, and no country is perfect. Every country's got pros and cons. Flies are attacking me again. Every country's got pros and cons. So you have to factor that in as well when you're choosing a place to settle down and live. Thank you so much for the support on my last 2 videos. I hope you are enjoying this new series about moving to Malaysia. Once I get into Malaysia, I will be doing exploring. I'll be doing neighbourhood explores. I'll be talking about what it's like to live in Kuala Lumpur and travel in Malaysia. So much more to come. But for now, whilst I'm waiting for my visa approval letter, I just thought I would start this journey off by sharing what it's like about moving to Malaysia and why I've decided to do this and why I'm looking forward to it so much. Anyway, I might even go and get my hair cut and get a shave. I'll see you soon, next Friday, with a new video.